what am I holding? Am I holding something in my hand? If so, in which hand am I holding? This one or this one? What do you say? Is it this one? Doesn't have anything, or is it this one? Only when you say this, you recognized that I'm holding something. Until that point, you thought I was holding it in this hand, didn't you? So then tell me, isn't this all a mind's illusion? So, how are you all? We met again. So, we've been discussing about anger and how to manage the anger for the past few episodes. I hope you understood that concept and try to apply it in your day to day activities at least. Whenever you feel angry, whenever you feel angry about your loved ones, your husband, maybe your boyfriend, girlfriend, your son, daughter, that wants love and affection from you, were you able to apply this concept and give them the maximum love that you could give them? That were you able to control your anger or give a solution to the anger by understanding it? As we discussed, anger is not something to be managed. Anger is something to be understood. As soon as you understand it, it disappears into thin air. So last week we discussed about how to apply this theory and how to understand anger in a situation, in a day-to-day activity. Your son comes to you and wants to ask you permission to go on a trip, and what do you say? He insists and asks many times, so you feel like you want them to stop. So anger, you feel that anger bottling up within you, and any minute now it will come out as a word, as an action. Sometimes it has already come and you have no control over it. So what happens when you're angry? Sometimes we try to put it all out on the other people as words. Sometimes as actions, beating or hitting. Sometimes neither of those. Sometimes we tend to bottle it up within yourself and harm yourself. I think that is the worst kind. The worst kind that one could ever endure. And this is called self-harm and self-injury. It's actually called non-suicidal self-injury, simply known as self-harm. And this is quite common among the teenagers, young children. I have to say, I've met a couple of them that have first-hand experience with this. So I met this young girl once. She told me that she has a lot of anger issues, and I asked her, what is it though? What do you feel mostly? And then she told me that when her mother blames her, she gets so angry that she wants to put it all out, but she can't. So what she does is she bottles it up within herself, and she take the knife and cut herself. She showed me her wrist. It is full of cutting marks, and it was cut multiple times, and there were so many scars and bruises. And I was thinking, wow, I mean, this anger could destroy oneself. And this mind believes that when that anger keeps bottling up within you, the only solution is to harm yourself, because you are feeling angry about yourself. The self-resentment, the self-loathing, it eats you up from the inside unless you understand this anger. So I wanted this to be a tribute to all those children, all those young teenagers who suffer and think that anger will be relieved if I cut myself, if I harm myself. So let's try to understand. I'll draw you a picture. What am I drawing? Okay. What do you think this is? Some people might say, yes, it's a bottle. Well, you feel that this is a bottle, don't you? But what it really was is just some lines drawn in a whiteboard. So this is some marker pen marks that are drawn in a whiteboard. But what you feel is that there is a bottle here. Is there? Is there a bottle here? No, there is no bottle here. But when you look at it, you get the sense that it is a bottle. So it doesn't matter what is actually there, as long as you perceive or as long as you feel it as a bottle. So don't you think that the magician here is the mind, not the objects that exist in the outside world? Everything happens in the mind. If you want something to be felt as a bottle, it'll be felt and perceived as a bottle. If you want something to be felt as a food, imagine those instances where you had those rubber snakes put on you as a joke, as a practical joke, or as a prank. So young children do these things sometimes. So you think it's a real snake and you get scared. You become scared for life. But the thing is, it's just made out of rubber. It was a fake snake. But the thing is, your mind perceived it as real. So does it really matter what it really is as long as you perceive it as real? So we are talking about a mind here. I'll give you another example. Actually, I have given you a good example when we first started this episode. So I took this stone and I kept it in my arm. And I asked you, what do you think? In which arm do I hold this stone? And you answered that it's in this hand. How did you answer that? Because you felt it doesn't need to be in this hand for you to feel that there is a stone in the hand. And sometimes, and I can ask you, what is it in my hand? And you might not know. You might feel this as a marshmallow or maybe something else, a paper or rubber, but you don't know exactly what this is. So how do you recognize something? Isn't it the mind that recognizes something according to the data that is input there? Isn't it the mind that recognizes it all? So then, what about the sight? This sight gives you the idea, gives the mind the idea that she's holding a stone. And sometimes the sound. I'll give you a good example. What is this sound? What do you think that is? Unless I show it to you, you recognize it as the sound of a bell. How do you know that I hold a bell in my hand? With the sound, right? Is there any other way for you to know what I am holding in my hand? When you recognize that sound, you get the idea, you get the feeling that it is a bell that I am holding. So, what about the smell? You might have a similar experience that when your mother is cooking, when your spouse is cooking, you know what she's cooking, don't you? Sometimes when you go in front of a boutique, you know what they're cooking. If you uh, recognize someone from their perfume, you know that they're there when you feel that smell. So you recognize things using smell. And what about the touch? How do you know that this is not a marshmallow? When you touch, if it is very soft, then you know it is a marshmallow. If it is so rigid, then you know it can't be a marshmallow. It has to be something like something else, a toffee maybe. But you are recognizing this touch. That's how you recognize an object. So everything that surrounds us is actually a combination of sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. What about the taste? Sometimes you are given this, sometimes, aren't there any instances where you are surprised? Your mother makes this surprise dish for you, and they ask you to close your eyes and open your mouth, and they put one spoonful to your mouth, and you're asked to taste it and tell what it is, whether it tastes good. So in those instances, you're recognizing that using your taste. So then you recognize things using the taste. So this sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch, those are the ways that you recognize that something is there. If you don't get this sight, you don't know what it is there. Just like, what am I holding? You don't know until I show it to you. So then sight helps you to recognize. Helps whom to recognize? That's the question. It is a mind that recognizes. So then tell me, don't you think that the mind and body are two different components? Don't you think that there is nothing to do with the body when it comes to what you feel in your mind? If you recognize these objects using the sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch, what do you think about all these emotions? Anger, frustration, disappointments, and self restraint, self preservation, those kind of feelings. The mind recognizes those feelings, and the body doesn't have any connection whatsoever to these feelings. So then when we actually feel the anger, we try to harm the body, thinking that this body is myself. I feel that this is me. I feel that this body is me. But it's actually a feeling that you feel in your mind. It has no connection to this body. I know you feel yourself. We all do. We all feel a self. We all feel like we exist. We feel an existence in this world. We feel like human beings. We all do. But the thing is, that is a feeling that occurs in the mind, just like the sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. It doesn't actually matter what is really happening in the outside. Just like the bottle. You recognize this as a bottle, but when it was really some marker pen marks and a whiteboard, there was never a bottle here, but you recognized it as such. And I can change that perception for you, shall I? What I have to do is delete this and put something like this. What is this? Wow, that's a mug, isn't it? What is this? A glass, isn't it? And it has a lot of water inside. Is there water? Is there a glass? There's nothing inside. So then, what is really here? Does it really matter? When everything's in your mind. So does the anger. When the anger occurs, we have to understand the anger. And we have to understand that there is no use in harming this body to resolve a feeling that we feel in our mind. Mind needs a mind doctor. Mind cannot be healed, or mind cannot be harmed, or the feeling cannot be harmed by harming the body. So then why are we even attempting it? This is the real truth that we need to understand. But since we have been ignorant our entire life and throughout the entire samsara, we tend to believe otherwise. It's like when you are driving a vehicle, when you turn the car, when you turn the steering wheel, when you turn the car, your body turns with you, and you believe like you have your car is you, and you have control over the car, but you are living inside the car at that moment. Isn't that right? But you believe that your entire car is you and you have taken the control of it. The same way, even though we feel that this body is me, the body is myself, this is me, I exist, but you have to understand that this is a mind that is living inside this car. The car is the body, the driver is the mind. So I think that metaphor is clear for you. So let us quickly go through what is causing this anger. Let's try to understand the anger one more time. So why do we feel anger? Because we try to control the entire situation. We try to control what's happening, what's occurring in the outside world. And we want everything to happen my way. Because you believe that your ways will make you happy. You believe that your ways will make you feel more protected and it will take all the harm away. Sometimes we feel abandoned. Sometimes we feel like nobody's there for me. Nobody loves me. Nobody cares about me. And when other people prove that to you, you might feel really angry because you don't want them to behave like that. So because of that, because of my way, because of my wanting, the anger occurs. And it doesn't matter what really you want, does it? The world occurs, the world happens in a certain way when those constituent causes get aligned. For example, let's take the same example that we took one day, the fire. So when you take the fire, there are so many causes that needs to get aligned for the fire to occur. You need to have fuel and some firewood and oxygen and temperature. When those causes get aligned, the fire occur. Does it matter whether you want the fire to occur or not? Does it matter whether you like it or not? Does it really matter if the firewood is wet? You want the fire to occur so badly, but the firewood is wet. So does it matter what you want? As long as that equation is fulfilled, the equation of oxygen plus firewood plus a temperature and the fuel, as when all those constituent elements in that equation is there, then you get the effect of the fire. It actually doesn't matter what you want or what I want. So when we don't understand this concept, we try to control everything around us. And we have expectations from other people that they will do it this way and that way. But isn't there so many underlying causes that control a situation? Even though we try to believe that it should be what I want, isn't there so many causes what other person to contribute to what other person think? Maybe they are their beliefs and the things that other people say to them, and whether they have true intention to soothe you or maybe to harm you, whether they have this wanting for something to happen their way. So everyone has their own way, but when we have our own way, that is the best way that things should happen. Isn't that right? So this is the main reason for the anger to occur. So when you understand this anger, when you understand that anger is a feeling that occurs in the mind, you try to heal the mind. Can you see a mind? No. If it is a wound in your leg, then of course you can put an ointment. But when it is something that happens in your mind, you need a teacher, you need the guidance of someone who has already found a solution for that problem. And that is why we are here. We are here for you, to give you that. Because we are mind doctors. Because we try to understand the mind. It is a very complex instrument, I have to say, but understanding the mind and understanding how these feelings occur gives us some insight on how to solve this problem, how to solve these negative emotions, how to act and how to think so that these emotions won't occur anymore. So it's all about how you think, how you see a situation, your perspective, changing that view will definitely give you relief. But harming your own body, self-harm, will never give you that. And you have to agree, it will only give you a momentary relief, momentary pleasure. Because the next time you are back to it again, the next time you are doing it again, when will you ever be satisfied? If you ever become satisfied, then why are you doing it over and over again? If it really gave you a solution to anger, then why do you feel angry about yourself again? So think about this. And I want you all to know that there is a solution, and I urge all of you to try this out. Try to think this way. And they say that practice makes you perfect. So understanding this will give you and make the environment for you to practice this in your life, in your day-to-day events. And I know it will give you this huge relief that none of the things that happen in the outside world can affect your mood. You will be happy regardless. You will be happy regardless of what happens, what others says, and you will find the true bliss that we found. So until next time, be safe. See you next week.